Hello. Thank you everybody for staying here, and thank you Piotr Armianovski for sharing this film with us and having conversation. How will we remember? It feels like a quite personal conversation between a few people, but at the same time it touches very broader and collective questions. I wanted to ask you about the moment when you decided to create this film. Did you have any specific moment or question that made you feel that you need to explore this topic of memory?
Maybe it's funny, but I don't remember. I don't remember the exact moment when I want to research such topic. More or less, I remember the time, and there was in the air in society this topic of the intensity of the events and overwhelming, and we need somehow to store it, to make some signs, to pay tribute, to pay respect to people who died, and different monuments, different art objects starting to appear, and they provoke different reactions. Some people are shocked by such forms. Some say that let's have freedom of art, and every artist will do whatever they want. But when we speak about social, about the trauma of some exact people, and yes, maybe if photographer could enter someone abandoned home when people have to leave because of Russian bombs, and their house stay halfway broken. If you able to come there and make any photo you wish, or not. Yes, there was some discussion around these topics, and as I remember, this film was part of my reflection with my colleagues about this.
Yes, there was a moment at the end of the movie which stuck with me when a woman was saying that that her real perception of the war will only form at the end, and that it's very much dependent on how the war ends. And can memory really be trusted when it's shaped so much by the outcome? How do you think?
It depends who needs this trust. If you have strengths, it's better do not trust anything and check personally. If there is a gravity, let's make some research or anything. If you have the strength. If you not, you could focus on some important for you topics, objects, yes, job, in family, and live with needs as old ancient Greeks live, and develop philosophy or math or anything like this. So it's quite question. Do I personally trust such memories? I feel that yes, this time when I made this film, it was quite far away, and I can't reconstruct what happens after this day by day. It's month by month, I can't do this. I would agree with Oksana, who said this, that for future generations, memory of this and importance and senses of this war would very strongly depends on the result. Who would win? It would map the answers to these questions. But for participants, maybe it would be different.
Do you think we ever really choose what we remember, or do our memories choose us?
I believe we could make efforts. Yeah, we have chaos around us, and we could make efforts to build some system to make this entropy less and to impact what can be remembered. But at the same time, everyone I consider have such memories that you didn't choose. Like, why do I remember this song or this scene? So yeah, it's something about neuroscience. I can't answer this.
I remember when the war started in the Western media and in Ukraine, quite often there was a point touched that this is the first war in history that can be observed in live, like in live broadcast. And I'm curious, do you think with the technologies that we have right now, with social media, with clear pictures, satellites, statistics, do you think it helps us to remember better, or maybe it can also do an opposite work?
Now people saying in US, in Europe, about in context of the development of artificial intelligence, that we are in few years about singularity, and humanity wouldn't exist in the form that we are now in like 10 years. Yes, so in this context, this war is one of the episodes that impact whole world, but we can't imagine what would happen in 30 years and how we would see on our current events. But and also in this context, the artificial intelligence, it would remember anything that was uploaded in the internet. So we have something that would remember everything. But about humans, my feeling that delegation of this we weakness our memory. Yeah, as 500 years ago, people could read poems by their memories, many pages. Taras Shevchenko or Homer, for example, his poetry. But I never met such people in my life that could remember whole poem for 3 pages. So maybe this is a sign that our memory became weaker. We make less efforts because we don't need this. We could check our Google Maps and see where we go, or chat history. This life, c'est la vie.
I also could not touch the coffee pot that was discussed several times in the movie. I really liked that conversation. It felt very, I think it felt very much for many Ukrainians. I'm just curious, did you have more like talks about the objects that people give so much feelings to? And why overall people treat objects so much when it comes to the war?
I don't think that this is only Ukrainian characteristics, but I believe everywhere you have special relation to some objects, to things that connected with your efforts. For example, if my grandparents, if for them it was big challenge to get some sofa, then for me the sofa could look like old, bad, unnecessary as a rubbish, but for them this is a sign of their efforts. yeah, you value very much your efforts, and you don't want to neglect to say that your life was for nothing. You have anything after your life, and this teapot, as I understand, yes, this is also the sign of the events and intensity and the this power of life. This is a sign of yes, it overcomes this distortion, and it's become very important for Katerina. Not as a collection of atoms, but as some flag of her memory.
Yes, you mentioned several times Homer in this film, and I feel like if we don't want to treat this war only as facts, right, we also need these objects that also make us remember feelings that this war was giving to us, right, and memories at the same time. The last question on my side, I wanted to ask you, even though this war feels so unforgettable right now, still with time, these memories can fade. And as an example, it feels like the revolution of dignity in Ukraine happened just recently. However, at the same time, the core achievements of this revolution, like anti-corruption reforms, are being dismantled right now. And what do you think we tend to? Do you think we tend to forget the roughness of certain historical moments so quickly? And how also you think art can commemorate this? How do you think art can help here to make this more to remember these moments better?
I believe that on human level, any person has this in own experience that some tough moments, very hard moments, when you have it with time, you think about it as a challenge, so you consider it much easier than it was experienced in life at the moment. Maybe this is because, as for example, a child, when he making his first steps, I believe this is a huge difficulties, and it's very hard to do this. But after you start to walk, in a few months, you can't remember this because you have much more challenges now. That is harder than before. And Ukrainian history also full of these challenges. And at the same time, if you concentrate only on tough moments that you have in the past, then you lack of beauty, of sense to live further. You would be depressed. And as I feel it now, people try to make some distance and try to leave the life and be in your shelling, and you could be killed. But what could you do with this? Right? Yeah, maybe you could go abroad to Europe to wait there, but there are another challenges there you would have. and not anyone has these possibilities and desire. So you live in this constant stress. So you become used to it, and you focus on some other things. And art, I believe, could make form, make these relations and connections. As one of my friends who is in army now, who is a writer, I asked him recently, do you write anything being in army? And he said, no, I don't have strengths. Even I have time, but I don't have this internal power to do this. I only make some few words maybe per week, and for myself as keys for later to remind something that is behind these few words that I'm describing now, because it's so fast and like memory is fading out. And I hope he would be able to do this, and we need this experience, this memory, I believe, to have this, to have some lessons, to adaptation, to change our life, that not to learn to walk, as the example of child, and overcome these reasons of suffering that we have now.
Yes, sometimes when you are going through tough times, on one hand you want to write it. You don't have power to write it down, but at the same time, back in your mind, you know that if you don't write it down, at some point this memory will fade, right? So you're going through this battle. Should I reflect on it? But now it's so overwhelming. I cannot write it down. Thank you so much for saying, for answering to my questions. Maybe the audience also would like to give a few of them. Yes.
It's pity I couldn't see you, but it would be nice to hear your feedback, your emotions, your passions. Please.
Hello. Thank you so much for your film. I have one question. When you decided to tell the different views of people on Banksy's work in the film, what did you want to cover? And do you feel the context of this work in the film has changes due to the current political events in America? Thank you.
I didn't get the whole question in the final sentence with connection. Yeah, I heard that about Banksy's is different opinions about the work. And then, as I said before, at the time there was discussion, and I don't have for myself the best answer. How do we need to commemorate these events exactly in European?
Maybe you didn't understood what I wanted to ask. I heard about like different views about that one works in the film, and I wanted to know why did you show this different things about how people feel when they live in the city with these artworks.
First of all, I'm not sure if that was discussed Banksy work, because as I remember, Banksy works they have some humor and they are clever. But that one, some American artist is more naive, as I remember. I give different views on this work because because I have question, how do we need to remember? How would we remember? Yeah, and this work, this mentioned work of foreign artists, it's represent one behavior, one way to remember, and there is another ways, and if we don't reflect about that, then how do we find the best answer? I'm not sure if I answer your question. That's why.
Certainly, yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Somebody? Okay.
Thank you. Hello, Piotr. Thank you a lot for showing this film in Portugal and for showing people's reflections. This helped me a lot to reflect back also on the years of war. And as you mentioned in the film, that our grandparents, they don't want to talk about the Second World War. And I think there's a lot of collective trauma that Ukrainians have. One of these is the Second World War, which wasn't processed very well. And now that we reflect more, and with the help of artists, with the help of people documenting the war, I believe that people reflect more. Do you think that when we will have our grandkids, we will talk about this war and we will be able to process this trauma that is happening right now?
It depends of this grand narrative. That depends of the result of the war. But for example, hard question to this: how would people who were, say it in English, примусово русифіковані, some men who were taken to army without his desire. Would these people would tell their parents that, I don't want to go to the war, but I was by force sent there, and I were not killed there? I don't know. Yes, so it's really dependent on the result. But now I feel now that some topics it's impossible to discuss them now. People refer to me personally. Prefer not to speak about this because I don't know if we don't have enough people, what do we need to do?
Yeah, in your movie, in your film, at the beginning, a woman was saying that when the war started, she was she was constantly bombarded with the idea that war will end like in 3 weeks, in a few months, and this belief was constantly like destroyed by the reality, right? Maybe right now Ukrainians are just trying to stop questioning these things, right? And just trying to live the life how they can in this constant battle.
But there are many different people, and they have who are fighting, who try to do their best, whatever they can, to support our forces, to support our people. Because in fact, it's no matter, it's a war could end in any way, but afterwards, at least for me, there would be a personal questions. What did I do? Did I hide from responsibility from the challenges, or did I try to find my answer to the situation, to the world. Would you respect yourself in the future of how you behave now, or you would say that, oh, everyone was like this, but really, many people, many ways to behave, it's your self-respect, I believe, is the best answer.
Do we have more questions? Yeah, we have a few over there and over here. So, yeah, maybe here, Peter, there.
Вітання, Piotr. First of all, thank you so much for such a great work I just seen, and thank you so much for such a deeply emotional response I feel about all the pictures and about all these close-ups, you know, because I really like, my eye is like super excited and satisfied because I really like close-ups and textures. It speaks to me a lot. And normally when I think about memories, about my personal archives, I always feel like the most strong response in my body when I feel smells. And for example, pictures for me are, if we speak like about these video shootings of, I don't know, whatever, like of war videos, it feels for me really, you know, intense, but my psyche rejects to accept it, to perceive it like a really live stories. So it more for me like, sorry to say that, but like, you know, these war movies, like fiction stuff, and I don't really like it. But I understand that actually a human psyche more or less perceives such videos as is, right? And thank you so much for so important question you arose about how would we remember. And sorry, I'm a little bit random because I have like a lot of thoughts and I'm trying to put everything structured, but and thanks. I would really like to know what is your personal connector to such memories and archives. For example, smells for me, maybe pictures, close-ups for someone, maybe for you as well, but maybe you have some specific thing, your personal thing, maybe music, sounds, I don't know. I'm just trying to give you some more options, like what could it be, and like for you personally, and for the people you interviewed, maybe you remember something like among these objects or feelings, or I don't know, maybe you can recall some connectors except images, and yeah, thank you.
We didn't discuss with Oksana and Katerina is the concepts of the most strong dimensions of reality that go deep into the memory. So I would tell about myself and about smells. It's even in a text from Kievan Rus, one of the rulers there. It was a smell from his childhood, and it affected his decision to come back to Ukraine. Only not after the promises, some words, but when he smelled the plants that he has in his childhood, and for me also smell was important. It's go deep into us, I believe. Also for me is some feeling of space when I reminded something or sometimes in dream. I have kind of 3D, so I'm inside, but yes, this feeling of the space, how far you have, in which direction you have different people and objects, or something important that stay in memory.
Thank you so much. We have the last question over there, please.
Thank you. Piotr. I have a question regarding the memories. As a person, you're exploring memories. I do too normally for my work. So the question is there something for this last 3.5 years of war, what you want to keep as a memory, and what you're afraid to forget, and what do you do to preserve these memories?
I have this feeling of that it was when I was observing how people are trained, civilians are trained to be soldiers, and it was man and woman, and I saw such a choreography there, and that camera and words, I can't describe it in this way to show and to see for myself something there. So I have a dream, I would say, to explore and to find a way with the choreography. So probably it should be on the stage with some dancers and audience, but to reveal this experience and transformations of people through this war as some choreography performance. This is one thought, and another, I try, at least for me, it helped to bring our situation, our suffering, in a wider context of the history of humanity, and find this correlation and to understand the deeper Homer, Mahabharata, Second World War, First War. So other experiences we have, other works, texts we have, and I have also some personal answer. I wouldn't for now right to share it. Sorry. Something I do to keep going and to go towards the future that helps me, but it's the person.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your questions, Peter. I didn't have this idea to ask you to tell your names, so you stay for me as some voices that will impressed by my work. I'm glad. Thanks whole the team for the festival, for the chance to show my work and to speak with a nice audience.
Thank you
Nice talking to
as
you.
well. Yeah, thank you very much again for sharing.